Welcome to African Tales by Amara, a place where incredible stories come to life. Here, we weave timeless African folklore, magical adventures, and heartwarming tales of love, courage, and wisdom. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. This way, you will never miss the enchanting tales we share every week. Now, sit back, relax, and let the story begin. She charged her clients based on their appearance. The wealthy men, often dressed in fine suits, were asked to pay more. Angel was clever, though once the deal was done, she often found ways to take more than what was agreed. Sometimes she would steal from their wallets as they lay asleep or distracted. Other times, she would feign innocence, claiming they had agreed to pay extra. In a small town called Ora, there lived a young woman named Angel. Her voice was like the morning breeze, soft and sweet, and it carried the power to calm even the most troubled hearts. Angel was a chorister in St. Matthew's Church, a place where the entire community gathered every Sunday. She stood at the front, dressed in her white robe, leading the choir as they sang hymns that lifted souls towards heaven. Angel was admired by many. Mothers told their daughters to be like her, modest, respectful, and dedicated to God. Fathers prayed that their sons would marry someone like her grace. Yet Angel carried a secret that no one could ever imagine. By day, she was a church angel, but when the sun sets and darkness embraced the town, she became someone entirely different. At night, Angel walked the streets of Ura under the dim glow of street lights, her face covered by a veil. She was no longer Angel, the chorister, but a woman known only by the name Dora. Every evening, as soon as she returned home from church, Angel would change from her flowing chorister gown into a miniskirt and a tight blouse that revealed just enough to catch attention. She would then paint her lips a bold red and line her eyes with comb, transforming herself into someone unrecognizable. This ritual felt like stepping into another life, one she both desired and relied on. The streets of Ura at night were alive with whispers, laughter, and the occasional shouts. Women like Dora worked in silence, their eyes scanning the crowd for potential clients. Angel knew the unspoken rules: never linger too long in one place, always appear confident, and never show fear. She charged her clients based on their appearance. The wealthy men, often dressed in fine suits, were asked to pay more. Angel was clever, though once the deal was done, she often found ways to take more than what was agreed. Sometimes she would steal from their wallets as they lay asleep or distracted. Other times she would feign innocence, claiming they had agreed to pay extra. Guilt rarely troubled her. She justified it as a necessary act to keep her brother Chidi in school and ensure their survival. One Saturday evening, as Angel prepared for her night work, she heard a knock at the door. Startled, she quickly hid the red dress she had been holding and replaced it with a simple wrapper. When she opened the door, it was Pastor Obi, the leader of St. Matthew's Church. His face was kind but serious. Angel, my child, he said, I've come to talk to you about tomorrow's service. Are you well? Yes, Pastor, I'm fine, Angel replied, her heart pounding in her chest. She feared he might sense the guilt that clung on her like a shadow. Pastor Obi nodded. Good, we need your voice. more than ever tomorrow. The bishop is inviting, and I know you make us all proud. Angel forced a smile and assured him she would be there. As he walked away, she closed the door and leaned against it, tears welling in her eyes. She felt trapped between two walls, each demanding a piece of her soul. That night, as she walked the streets as Dora, a stranger approached her. He was not like the others. His eyes were sharp and curious, and his voice carried authority. "You look familiar," he said, studying her intently. "Have we met before?" Angel's heart raised. She shook her head and turned away, but the man followed her. "I know, I have seen you somewhere," he insisted. "Perhaps at St. Matthew's Church." Her blood ran cold. Who was this man? And how did he know her? Was her secret about to be exposed? The man kept following her, but at some point his phone rang, and when he took out his phone from his pocket to answer the call, Angel was nowhere to be found. Angel ran as fast as her legs could carry her, and when she got home, she locked her door and spied her windows to make sure no one followed her. Angel had perfected the art of blending into both her worlds, but there were times her two lives brushed dangerously close. During church service, she often scanned the congregation, her eyes lingering on the handsome men and well-dressed gentlemen. If a man caught her attention, especially if he was wealthy or married, she made a mental note. After the service, she would strike up a casual conversation, pretending to seek advice or share a harmless joke. Over time, she would collect their contact information and slowly draw them into her web of deceit. By night, those same men became her clients. Angel had a way of convincing them, playing on their desires and ego. Many succumbed to her charms, and though they were reluctant at first, they would pay her handsomely for her company. She felt a twisted sense of power in these encounters, knowing that even the most upright men had their secrets. The double life took a toll on her body and soul. There were Sundays she could not rise from her bed, her limbs heavy with exhaustion after a long night of entertaining multiple clients. One such morning, she would send word to Pastor Obi claiming she was unwell. The pastor, ever compassionate, would assure her that her health came first. Angel hated lying to him, but the guilt was easier to bear than facing the congregation with her tired eyes and heavy heart. One Sunday, after skipping service, she sat by her window, watching as the town people returned from church. She spotted a familiar face among them, a man she had been with just 2 nights before. He walked hand in hand with his wife, their daughter echoing in the distance. A pang of shame struck her, but she quickly pushed it away. "There is no better than me," she muttered to herself, trying to silence the voice of her conscience. But deep down, Angie knew that her double life could not continue forever. The walls between her worlds were thinning, and she could feel the weight of her choices pressing down on her. How long would she keep the secret before all came crashing down? Angel wanted to change her lifestyle so badly, but she couldn't. She was addicted to the thrills and the money it brought. Besides, she had a little brother, Chidi, to take care of. The thought of him dropping out of school kept her tied to the life she desired. One Sunday, everything changed. The pastor's son, David, had just returned from the United States. Tall, confident, and charming, he walked into St. Matthew's Church for the first time in years. His presence caused quite a stir, and many of the young women couldn't take their eyes off him. Angel noticed him too, but she quickly averted her gaze, focusing on her role as a leader of the choir. That day, Angel sang a hymn with such emotion that brought tears to many eyes. Her voice soared, filling the church with a divine melody that seemed to touch every soul present. David was captivated. After the service, he sent for her, eager to meet the woman behind the voice. Angel, he said, his voice warm and sincere. Your singing is a gift from God. You inspire people. Keep up the good work. Angel blushed, her heart pounding. She thanked him quietly, but she could feel his eyes lingering on her. Over the following weeks, David began to show interest in her. He would wait for her after service and offer to drop her off. Though Angel appreciated his kindness, she was terrified. She knew his intentions and feared what would happen if he found out about her double life. He deserved someone better than me, she thought to herself. Angel started making excuses every time he offered her a ride. She claimed she had errands to run or someone else waiting for her. Though she liked him, she tried her best to avoid him. But David was persistent. He would watch her during service, his eyes following her every move, especially when she sang. His admiration was obvious, and it made Angel's heart ache with guilt. Unable to understand why she ignored him, David decided to confront her one day after service. Angel, have I done something wrong? He asked, his voice filled with concern. Why do you keep pushing me away? Angel froze, her heart racing. How could she explain the truth without breaking his heart? David's eyes were filled with concern as he asked Angel, why do you keep pushing me away? Angel hesitated, her emotion swelling. Finally, she said, this isn't the right place to discuss this. David nodded, his voice gentle but firm. Then, let's go to my office. Once inside a quiet space, Angel took a deep breath and began, her voice trembling. David, I am not the kind of person you think I am. Though I've stopped my old lifestyle, I can't erase the things I've done. I nearly contracted HIV before I realized I had to change. That is why I've been avoiding you. I don't want to lead you on or give you false hope. Tears streamed down her face as she spoke. David stepped closer, his voice steady and filled with warmth. Angel, I don't care about your past. What matters to me is who you are now. But Angel shook her head, her tears flowing freely. You don't understand. You don't really know who I am or what I've been through. Before he could say another word, she fled from the office, leaving David standing there, his heart aching. In the subsequent week, Angel stopped attending church service. Her absence was deeply felt, and David couldn't stop thinking about her. Concerned, he began asking around, hoping to find out where she was. One day, he learned that she had been admitted to the hospital. Without hesitation, David went to see her, carrying a bouquet of fresh flowers. When he entered her hospital room, Angel was shocked to see him. Despite her protests, he paid for her medical bills and made sure to visit her often, bringing her food and other essentials to make her stay more comfortable. David's kindness didn't stop there. He also paid for her little brother's school fees and covered her overdue house rent. His actions left Angel speechless, her heart filled with gratitude and a growing sense of hope. A week after she was discharged from the hospital, David picked her up for a date. It was a simple yet meaningful gesture, one that marked the beginning of a new chapter in Angel's life. Angel had never encountered anyone like David before. Every man who had come into her life only wanted one thing: sex. They would use her and leave her without a second thought. But David was different. He showed her genuine kindness and care, never one asking for anything in return. She could feel his intentions were pure, and it frightened her. She had never been treated with such respect and love, and she feared she wasn't worthy of it. Over time, Angel and David grew closer. He would take her out on thoughtful dates and make her laugh in ways she had forgotten were possible. It became obvious to everyone that they were dating, and soon the other ladies in the choir began to gossip. Whispers about Angel's past resurfaced, and they questioned how someone like her could capture the heart of the pastor's son. Angela, one of the choir's members who had always harbored feelings for David, was particularly cruel. She spread rumors and snide comments, hoping to tarnish Angel's name. Months later, David introduced Angel to her parents. Pastor Obi and his wife were delighted to meet her. "You've chosen a good woman," Pastor Obi said, beaming with pride. One evening, during a quiet dinner date, David surprised Angel by getting down on one knee, holding a beautiful ring. He asked, "Angel, will you marry me?" Tears filled her eyes as she whispered, "Yes." It was a moment of pure joy, and for the first time, Angel felt like she had a chance at true happiness. But not everyone shared in their joy. Angela, consumed by jealousy, couldn't stand to see Angel living the life she had dreamed of. Determined to ruin her, Angela concocted a plan. She sought out one of Amara's former clients, a charming but bitter man who held a grudge against her. Angela struck a deal with him, promising him money if he exposed Angel during a church service. A week after their wedding, during Sunday service, the man stormed into the church, shouting, "Where is Angel? She owes me money. She booked me for a night and ran away without doing her job." The congregation erupted in whispers and gasps. All eyes returned to Angel, who stood frozen, her face pale. "I swear, I don't know him," Angel said, her voice shaking, but the man's accusations were loud and relentless. After the service, David and Angel were called into the pastor's office. Pastor Obi's face was turned as he addressed his son. "So, you knew about her past and still chose to marry her?" he asked, his voice heavy with disappointment. David stood his ground. "Dad, she is a changed person. She gave her life to Christ. She is no longer the woman she used to be." The argument grew heated, but David's faith in Angel remained steadfast. He believed in a transformation and refused to let her past define her. After the tense meeting, they drove home in silence. Angel sat quietly, tears streaming down her face, while David gripped the steering wheel, deep in thought. When they arrived home, David finally broke the silence. "You told me you've left that life behind," he said, his voice filled with hurt. "How could this happen?" Angel tried to explain, her words stumbling over each other. "David, I swear, I've changed. I don't know why this is happening, but you have to believe me." Despite her pleas, it was difficult for David to fully trust her now. The incident had casted a shadow over their relationship. David's parents urged him to divorce Angel. "She will bring shame to our family," his mother said. "You deserve someone who will uphold our name." But David refused. "I trust her," he said firmly. "I know that night she was with me. She couldn't have done what he claims." Life moved on. But the challenges didn't end there. Nearly 3 years into their marriage, Angel still couldn't conceive a child. Visits to the doctor revealed a heartbreaking truth. Years of multiple abortions had left her unable to bear children. The news devastated Angel. She cried herself to sleep many nights, overwhelmed with guilt and sorrow. David, ever the pillar of strength, did everything he could to console her. He held her close, whispering words of comfort and reassurance. "We will get through this together," he told her. "You are all I need." Despite the pain and challenges their love endured, Angel began to see herself through David's eyes, not as the woman she used to be, but as someone worthy of love, forgiveness, and a future filled with hope. As the years passed, the whispers among the community and the church members grew louder. It had been 4 years since Angel and David's wedding, and still they had no child. People began to speculate and gossip, their words carrying an air of judgment. Angel felt the weight of their stares and whispers every time she stepped into church or walked through the market. The strain was undeniable. Pastor Obi, once a pillar of support for his son, became increasingly devastated by the situation. One evening, he sat David down. "Son," he began cautiously, "you need to consider the future. Perhaps it's time to think about finding another woman who can give you a child." David's eyes widened in disbelief. "Dad, you, of all people, should know better. The Bible clearly states that divorce is permissible only in cases of infidelity. This isn't about unfaithfulness, this is about faith." His mother interjected, her voice filled with concern. "We know that, David, but can't you see that even if we pray, your wife might not be able to bear children? This is reality." David's voice cracked with emotion. "Mom, have you lost faith in God? How can you and Dad, the very people who should be encouraging me, be the ones telling me to abandon my wife?" Angel and I took vows before God, and I intend to honor them. Without waiting for their response, David stormed out of his parents' house and returned home, his heart heavy with anger and disappointment. When he told Angel about what his parents had said, she broke down in tears. "David, maybe they are right," she said quietly, her voice laden with sadness. "I'm holding you back. You deserve to have a family. Please, find another wife." David knelt beside her, taking her hand in his. "No, Angel, I made a promise to you and to God. I won't break it. God is in control, and I believe He has a plan for us." Determined to keep their faith strong, David and Angel began to pray and fast together. For months, they sought God's guidance and healing. The strain was immense, but their love for each other and their faith in God kept them united. One morning, Angel woke up feeling unusual, weak, and unwell. Concerned, David rushed her to the hospital. After a series of tests, doctor delivered unexpected news. Angel was pregnant. The words felt surreal, almost too good to be true. Tears streamed down Angel's face as she whispered a prayer of gratitude. David held her close, his heart bursting with joy. News of the pregnancy spread quickly, and the joy it brought silenced the gossip and judgment. When Angel gave birth to a healthy baby boy months later, it felt like a miracle. The entire church celebrated with them, rejoicing in the faithfulness of God. After they were discharged from the hospital, Pastor Obi and his wife visited their home to meet their grandchild. The moment they saw the baby, their hearts melted. Pastor Obi cleared his throat, his voice filled with emotion. "David, Angel, we owe both of you an apology. We're wrong to doubt God's plan and to put pressure on you. Please forgive us." Angel smiled, her heart filled with gratitude. We forgive you, she said softly. This little one is a testament of God's faithfulness. As they sat together, planning a name for the baby, Angel couldn't help but reflect on how far they had come. She looked at David, the man who had stood by her through every trial, and whispered a silent prayer of thanks. Thank you, Lord, for blessing me with a husband who truly loves me and for proving that with you nothing is impossible, she said to herself. These are some of the moral lessons we can learn from the story. 1. Unwavering faith in God. The story emphasizes the importance of trusting in God's timing and plan, even in the face of trials and societal pressures. Secondly, the power of redemption. Angel's transformation and commitment to a new life highlights that people can change for the better when given support and understanding. Thirdly, judging others is harmful. The gossip and judgment from the community and church members show how harmful assumptions and criticisms can be to those striving to change their lives. Also, faith in the face of doubt. David's steadfast belief in God and his wife teaches the importance of remaining hopeful and faithful even when circumstances seem bleak. Lastly, God's timing is perfect. The miraculous blessing of a child after years of waiting shows that perseverance and faith can lead to unexpected and beautiful outcomes. Thank you for watching. Kindly like, subscribe, and share this story to others. See you in our next video. Bye.